we need. Why do you keep showing me quick access? That the trailer, the eyes in the air, which is fantastic. Ekatan, I'm not quite sure that it's long raining. So, where can I put it? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, sorry, I was just talking to Suzanne.
Is that working?
Well, I don't know, to be honest. I'm just trying to copy it. Which is fantastic. Ekatan, I'm not quite sure that it's. Hello? Oh, hello, I am here, but I'm just down to talk.
I just dragged them across.
Hello?
Oh, sorry, I was just talking to Suzanne.
Is that working?
Well, I don't know if you're 2 minute lag. Which is fantastic.
Just, I just dragged them, copy them. Right click copy.
Hello?
No, sometimes.
Oh, hello, I am here, but I'm just down to talk.
Copy. I just dragged them. Paste.
Oh, sorry, I was just talking to Suzanne.
Is that working?
Well, I don't know if you're
Where's your paste thing then? Oh, there. Yeah, that's going. But that might be slow.
Right, I go
Because they're big
back.
things. I hope I got room on there.
Yes, I'm sure it's not huge. Cheers, everybody. Adam's Ale, otherwise known as pure fresh water. I have a funny feeling there's a huge delay at the moment.
Is that okay?
Paul,
Yep.
is there much of a delay?
No, it's fine. What you were hearing was that I've got it on YouTube. So there's a delay to YouTube. So I've just muted YouTube. So it was going round in a circle.
Right, okay, no problem. How is my volume for you?
It looks fine. Yeah.
Okay, good. Now I pushed the USB into Suzanne's laptop and it is currently downloading. We've got time for other people to join us. Any idea roughly how many will be coming today?
No. We never know till people turn up. We've invited some of the other local branches.
Oh, splendid.
And I don't know how many will choose Zoom versus YouTube or whatever. So we had about 25 on the last one.
Yeah, it's all experimental for all of us, I think, really. But I'm sure we will get there. Now, let me just see how this transfer is coming on. Oh, we're 61% complete. That's looking good, looking good. Now, for me to share my screen, you have to allow me to. You have to give me permission, don't you?
It should be allowed, I think.
Okay.
There should be a green button at the bottom where you can
There is, yes. Let's just try. Host disabled participant screen sharing, it says.
Oh,
so
okay.
you need to enable me.
Who can share? All participants. Right, done.
Or can I be a co-host?
That's what we did last time.
You should be able to share now.
You haven't got your file ready to share.
No, that's right. I just does that come through?
Yeah, yeah.
Good. Okay. Right, it's just
you need to choose whatever you're going to share. That's
yeah.
That's it. That's good.
shout if you need me.
Thanks. Right, how's this transfer come on? Okay. There's the window. Screen sharing has stopped as the shed window. Okay. Right. What I need to do is to set up PowerPoint. Make sure that's behaving itself first. And I want to click on that. That should be loading. Which things out the way. Slideshow from the beginning. Das ist sehr fantastisch. Right, now I've got to go back. So how do I go back to
Escape. Press escape to go back to them.
Yeah.
Should just do that.
Oh.
And then go click on the
And
Zoom
then
down
go
there.
click
Maybe.
on the Zoom.
Yeah, try that. And then when you want to
And then
share,
share screen.
you'll pick.
But it'll be that without the.
Yeah, I
sure.
think it's this one, and then you set it up as the. Then you go to your from current slide.
Oh, okay.
That one. Yeah, that's what I took. No, okay, I always do it from the current slide because I'm then controlling it.
Yeah, it's not thinking about it at the minute. Does it usually come up? Oh.
Yeah, but what's that little box? Oh, it's because you've got.
That's,
okay. They won't. Yeah, that's okay.
All right. Okay.
So then you've
And
got
then,
like that. You've got the yeah.
no,
Is that
it's
one?
that one, isn't it?
Yeah, bottom and back and top when we're going backwards.
Yeah. But it won't play video.
I do get it playing. Well,
It's not advancing to video at the minute. Oh.
I do when I do my talks in a hall. I have done video on it, and it does work. But I don't remember. That's a pest.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I didn't try video myself, as I wasn't quite sure. There you are. Might have taken a minute to load up.
Yeah, that's super. Okay, rehearsal over.
All working.
Fantastic. Yes, thank you. Can I go home now?
So I got it on mute because there's a fair bit of wind noise and the halyards are tapping it. So keeping it mute.
Ah, are you on a boat?
Yeah, I'm over on the Isle of Wight.
On your boat?
Yes.
Ah, I was going to say, I thought you had a low ceiling.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant, marvelous! Gosh, all the way across the Solent. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first time that I have done a Zoom talk. Very used to talking, giving other talks live. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. And you're always beholden to the power of the laptop, which is, well, I don't really like that, but you know, one of Lorenzo's sayings is always calm, no stress. It is better for the horses than people. And so we find that with every show that there are always problems, but we overcome them. You soon learn how. We learn to expect the unexpected.
Absolutely. Certainly sailing you do.
Oh, yes. Yes, I remember sailing with a friend at Poole Harbour, and I was due to give a talk in the evening. And we came to pull the anchor up, and the boat sort of lurched a little bit sideways. We got stuck on a sandbank, hadn't we? So I had to give my phone through to Suzanne and give my profuse apologies that I'm sitting in Poole Harbour stuck. Most embarrassing and not professional at all.
No.
These things are sent to try us. Yes, I think, yeah, I think we'll be okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it should work okay.
Just whilst there's nobody else peeping at the moment, I'm just going to run through to that little video sequence, which is what I generally do at live shows. Is it going to be slow loading or what? It's a little bit temperamental. The horses are far more predictable. I'd rather work with horses than laptops. Okay, we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
So turn up your volume a bit. I've just turned your volume up, Paul. Oh, it's disappeared. Can you just say something? I've just turned your volume up.
Is that better?
Yes, take it down a shade. As if I've got questions where I had it set previously, it was just a little bit on the quiet side.
Okay.
Can you try again there?
How's that?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Right. Well, I've set the phone on silent, and the lighting is reasonable. No frantic messages on the computer. Box 3. So. Communications meeting. The gate is going to be repaired. So that's good. So how would you like to take this once we've got everybody here? And
well, our chairman would normally do an introduction, but he hasn't joined us yet. He was supposed to be there at 1:30, so.
Oh, right. Well,
I'm not sure what's going on.
It's out of whack time.
Something like that.
Or as we say, when will something be done? Oh, forest time, we say, forest time.
Yeah.
So how's the sailing been? I shouldn't think you were out much yesterday.
I haven't done any so far. It was motoring both days.
Oh, right.
I was supposed to be going from here tomorrow to Portsmouth, but
Yeah.
that's looking like it's not going to happen. It's looking very windy.
It looks rough tomorrow, doesn't it? Yes. I must
Yeah.
say, on the farm here at Bull Hill and at Pilly, we have really seriously needed all the rain that we've had, and already the grass is just looking just so much greener.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, the sun is shining and it's fantastic, and I should think you'd probably rather be out on the water sailing. Has Tony come in? Hello, Tony.
Good
Hi.
afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Good to see you. See you both.
So I'm just trying to share screen. So we're just trying to set it up. And,
Yes, that's fine.
I don't know what. Or maybe we are on those three because of that's on there. So I'm just checking that we're set up correctly. So should we be able to see the YouTube and then plus some 3 separate ones? Is that correct?
No,
You
you're on
should.
Zoom, so you shouldn't see YouTube as well. You should, at the moment, you should be seeing Lorenzo International Horse Show, and then 3 of us on the side.
Also, I think I need to turn up our computer as well.
Good afternoon, Derek. Good to see you.
Hello.
Hello, Derek.
Hello.
How can we turn this up? Audio settings. There we go.
I'm just going to disappear and top up my glass of water a moment.
Okay, Patrick.
Okay.
Why won't that? See what that does. So I've got that up high now.
Hello.
No. Okay, let's try that.
Hello, Martin. Are you okay to do an introduction?
Yes, I'll do that.
Thank you.
About another 5 minutes.
Yeah. There's a couple of people on YouTube.
Okay.
I guess one of them's me.
And the other one might be Alan.
Could be.
So if you're doing it through YouTube, does it mean to say that you are not using Zoom?
We're using both.
Oh, crumbs.
There are some people who don't like to use Zoom for one reason or another.
Right.
For the same sort of reason they don't like to use Facebook or whatever.
Yes.
So we
indeed.
set up YouTube as an alternative way of delivering stuff.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Being on the council, we've had our meetings via Zoom, and there are 2 people there that use work laptops, and their companies do not allow them to have Zoom on their laptop. so they have to
Yep.
do something else. But so far, personally, and Suzanne, myself, we've had no problems with it whatsoever.
No, we found it very successful for those who made the effort to get onto it.
Yes.
But there's an awful lot of our members seem to be technophobic.
Well, yes, I can appreciate their thoughts, but today let this be an introduction to something that is turning into something that's quite amazing. And if I can come back and give you a talk live, then that would be wonderful. You know, so let's hope that COVID-19 doesn't drag its heels for too much longer.
Absolutely. We're hoping for an update from Parkinson's UK at the end of the month.
Right.
What they think is going to happen in the coming months, but it's because everything's still so fluid, it's impossible to tell. But we're itching to get back to face-to-face meetings.
Yes, I'm sure. Yes, we'll just have to see what happens in the autumn and winter as to whether there are flare-ups.
Yes.
Yeah, I dread to think what is ahead of us.
I don't even try to
The
think.
major flare-ups in France and Spain.
Yes, France and Spain aren't doing too well at the moment.
No,
And Lorenzo himself comes from deep down in the south of France, in the Camargue. And he hasn't been able to come up to any shows at all this year. Last week he put on his own show at his own farm, just to a few people, just to keep himself going. And that worked really, really well, but no big international shows, no traveling at all. It's been a great shame.
And I suppose you can't really get the proper feel of it on something like this.
No, you can't. And to see this talk on the big screen and live, yeah, it's good. It's exciting. But hey, we'll do the best we can, and the best we'll do.
We will poddle along as best we can, as you say.
Yes.
I was just talking to my daughter on the phone. Her car's died again, and she's just in floods of tears. She said, "I can't take it anymore, Dad." And it just seems to be so depressing, everything around her.
Oh dear, oh dear. Yes. Oh, somebody else is trying to come in?
no.
No, I think it's our phone.
It's our son keeps sending us a text message.
It's me. It's me trying to come in.
Sally.
Yes.
And Jack should be here. He was the instigator of this.
Am I in now?
Yes.
Yes, well, we can hear you.
Right, that's all that matters, as long as you can't see me.
I
Got Linda, yes.
would shake your hand if I could.
And Sylvia. Hi, Sylvia.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Good.
Got 8 people altogether so far.
Oh yes, there's a little arrow at the bottom of the screen. I can. Oh, I see. Oh, I didn't realise that. I thought it would just
Go down.
Linda and
I found out who else is there.
Because you're sharing your screen, we can only see a few of the people.
oh, I see.
Otherwise, there'd be no screen left for your show.
You mean everybody can hide except me?
Yes.
Not fair.
Right, okay, well, we're at 2 o'clock. Hopefully 1 or 2 more people will join in, and we don't know how many are on YouTube as well. But Patrick, it's a great delight for you to be here for us. We thoroughly enjoy, or look forward to enjoying your show. And as you said, maybe next year we can get you back live to do it all again on the big screen.
Oh, that would be really lovely.
To Patrick and Lorenzo and his horses.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for asking me to come along and to give you this talk. And as other people come and join in, that's perfectly okay. If anybody needs to leave, that's perfectly okay. But hey, for the next 35, 40 minutes, I shall give you a brief intro to Lorenzo, and then hopefully a slightly longer one live in due course. Now, who is Lorenzo? Who is this chappie? And he comes from deep down in the south of France in the Camargue. And he has traveled worldwide, entertaining audiences throughout the world. He is for sure one of the world's, or the world's, top equestrian display artists. And I found it interesting meeting up with very successful people from all sorts of fields and just learning how they tick, how they perform and do, and how it all started. And for myself, Suzanne on the left, Lorenzo in the middle, and myself, met up with him, years ago now, and first heard about him when he was a wee young lad. And then he came across to England, and from England, he was touring throughout Europe and beyond. But the best way of explaining who he is, what he does, is to show you this little 8-minute film. And I'd love to show you this, providing I can actually get it to work. So we'll see what we can do. Just takes a little bit of patience. There we go. It just takes a little moment to load up. And when I think it isn't going to load, it has actually done so. Let's just go back up and start again. There we go. Watch and enjoy. This is the world and the life of Lorenzo. Seeing is believing, folks. This is him down in the Camargue, training with his horses. These horses, they're fit athletes, and they just love their work. Look how light he is on his feet. Galloping out across the green fields. Much of this film is taken down in the Camargue. And a little bit later on, you'll see some scenes up in the snow. And he took his horses up there for a while, up into the Austrian Alps. Hey, girls and boys, such friends. This is a young foal in the Camargue Flamingos. The young foal is from one of his mares and comes along too for the exercise. Look at this for freedom. He calls them and they come. Playing up on the sand dunes. Such fun and freedom is their life. Is the volume okay for everybody?
Yes, it's fine.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me know if it's too quiet or too loud. To see these shots on the big screen is something else.
Mm.
His quiet training, working with his horses, and they all have the fun and enjoyment just as much as he does. And here we are up in the Austrian Alps, not far from the little town of Linz. Snowy white horses and a snowy white background. It's very special. Well, there you go. That's just a quick little insight about this amazing man, Lorenzo, which is his stage name, of course. He was born in the Camargue. His real name is Laurent Serre. And it was when some Italian guests were staying at his mother's bed and breakfast. They saw this lad, Laurent, riding up, standing up on his horses, and they were calling him Lorenzo. So the stage name Lorenzo has stuck ever since. And he was a young lad. He wasn't that keen on school like many of us. And the only way that he would do his homework when he got home is if he could sit down in the straw, in the stable, with his favorite little pony called Niask. And his love of horses has extended over the years since then. Now here you see him as a young boy doing all sorts of antics. And people took note. He put a little show together, showed it to the people down in the hometown of Santa Maria de la Mer. Now, have some of you been to the Camargue or down to south of France?
Yes.
And if you've driven around the Camargue itself, you may have driven past his farm, who knows? But anyhow, before long, he put on a show and he was invited to come to England, up to Cheshire, where he put on an amazing show. And very, very soon, his show extended across to all the countries throughout Europe. And this poster is from Gitana, which is one of my favorite shows. And to see the posters dotted around the town as they do in the European villages and towns is quite amazing. Because you can see him up on the posters, you can see the horses and thinking, I know that horse, the Sara and the Lafatra, and so on and so forth. In 2012, I was part organizer of a show, at least rather I instigated it, to take part in London. And this was run at the big Excel place up on the east side of London, where we had Lorenzo and many other famous people with their horses. So when we were at a show, of course, I can't always travel with him because I've got family here and the farm to look after as well. And, you know, I can only travel with him sometimes, but when I do, we're a small, almost family concern. Over on the left there is Babette, Lorenzo's mother, myself, Lorenzo in the middle, and his wife Claire, who at this time of the photograph was expecting their first baby daughter. Now, when we get to a show, my first thing is to get the stables ready and make before he actually arrives, and make sure the buckets of water and the hay is available. And I've got in touch with the show manager, etc., etc., etc. Now he will give me a call when he's crossing the channel into England, for instance, and he opens up. You can see the horse box there up there on the left with the side open for the fresh air for the horses. And this is his horse box. He travels 16 purebred Lusitanos in here, and it is literally a floating, it's literally a horse box on a hotel on wheels, beautifully set up for horses, air conditioning, hay laid on, water ad lib, and so on and so forth. On the way over, coming up through France, halfway, you'll stop off and give the horses a chance to stretch their legs and stretch and scratch each other's necks. And this gives a chance for the girls to tidy up the horse box, replenish the water, and put in the hay, more hay, and so on and so forth. So everything is comfortable for the horses. Everything is geared up for the horse's welfare. Now, if he's traveling very often for a long distance, coming to England, for instance, he will stop off halfway and stable the horses overnight. This gives them a chance to have a buck and a canter around in somebody's outdoor arena, and gives everybody a little bit of relaxation. Now, on this particular occasion, his next stop was in Paris. And fancy turning up in your horse box to some venue like this. You know, it's incredible. And he says to me, "Patrick, where do I park?" Oh, I said, "Here will do." And, you know, there's not many people that will park outside the Arc de Triomphe and unload horses, is there? It's absolutely amazing. You know, sometimes we're at big international indoor arenas. Sometimes we're outdoors. This is the horses stabling at the Royal Welsh Show at Builth Wells. And sometimes the stabling, as at Dublin Horse Show, was indoors. And if you notice, we had this purple carpet, which was a devil of a job to brush and keep clean. Oh, dear, oh dear. So horses come first. We come second, and we're very happy to sleep wherever we've been put. In this occasion, we had these little bunker bins, and although they were fairly small, it was absolutely perfect and very comfortable indeed. Other times, we have slightly smarter accommodation. And this was the King's Hotel, the King of Bahrain's hotel, when we visited them out in Bahrain. So the day begins, he arrives, I've sorted the stables out, and we unloaded the horses, put them into the stables so that they can relax, have some hay, have a roll, etc., etc. Whilst we all set to work, we have to unload a lot of equipment, the obstacles that he will use throughout his displays. I try and make sure that there is a tractor and a trailer ready to take the poles you can see there up to the main arena. And this show happened to be at the Great Yorkshire Show up near Harrogate. Lorenzo's mum, Babette, put some of the equipment together, and this happens to be the platform that the horses will stand on, as you will see later. Exercising the horses, this happened to be at London Excel, where there wasn't actually much space, so here I am only leading 4 horses, whereas very often I shall be leading 6. But 6 horses is quite a width, so you need quite a lot of space to do that in. When the horses have been exercised, believe it or not, it's time for us to go and have something to eat. And at one show, you know, bottom left picture, I usually try and take the Land Rover with me to cart not only stuff about, but our helpers. And on this occasion, there wasn't room for Lorenzo. And as you can see up in the top left there, he had to sit on the bonnet of the Land Rover, which was quite fun. So, okay, where are we? Again, in the morning, we like to get out and exercise the horses, and to make sure that they're all in good frame of mind and happy and comfortable and ready to start the day's activities. At the Royal Welsh Show, we took them down to the arena, main ring, and oh, some beautiful grass. I mean, it's just for them. It's just like a box of chocolates. So we let them have a graze. Lorenzo took some photographs of them with the hills in the background before he jumped up, and away we go. And although we arrive at a showground 3 days before the public come in, so for us to do our rehearsals, the horses know all what they are supposed to do, but we've got people to rehearse, like the commentator, the music technician, the chaps who are helping move the obstacles around, and the chap that's going to work the gates for us. So there is a lot of work to do before we actually start the show itself. But the horses are all important. They have time to relax and chill out and enjoy a spot of grass. If we're lucky overnight, a local farmer will offer us a field to turn the horses out in. And then before the show, Dublin International Horse Show. Here we are. The press officer turns up, and for the Leamington Times, he says, would there be any chance of you taking just perhaps a couple of your horses down to the Dublin beach so that we can get some nice pictures? And I said to him, hang on a minute, I'll ask Lorenzo, and we'll let you know when you come over at 8 in the morning. 8:30 we'd arranged. I'll let you know if it is okay. And anyhow, he turns up at 8:30 in the morning and asked me, said to me, any chance of taking just the 2 horses down to the beach? And I said, I'm sorry, no, no, we can't take 2 horses. And the poor chap's face fell. And I said to him, don't worry, because we can take 6 for you. So off we went down through the streets of Dublin, down to the beach. And this is one of the photographs that I took on my little mobile phone. And if you can see there in the distance, a ferry, a ship going out with the horses in the foreground, splashing through the sea, which was, I mean, that was an absolute magic moment. And bother the show, and half the fun is the rehearsals and before the official show starts. Here we are at Dublin, and you can see an absolute combination of all the big international fences. Now, we're giving a display, we have to fit all our obstacles in between those, which is not very easy. But hey, with us, anything is possible. The horses relax. So does Stephanie, his head girl, curls up on the floor with the young ones. And even Lorenzo has time to have a lie down as well. It's we're very much a close-knit community. Lorenzo, okay, he's the world's top equestrian display artist. And you might think he would be off with the fairies, in high flying and so on. No, he's always with us, always with the horses, and we work together as a team. And when we go off to eat, we all go off together as a little party, and it's a great and lovely time. Now the show opens tomorrow morning. The public arrive, so it's an early start for us. And first of all, I like to tidy up the stables whilst the horses go down to be washed. And then they get lunged and circled just to dry off. We all work together as a team. So by 10 o'clock, the gates are open, the public arrive, and the press arrive, and they want to do interviews and take television and everything else. And here's me, I seem to have grab the microphone to go off to interview Lorenzo. Here he is again being interviewed, and there is, yeah, people just come out of nowhere and they want to talk and to see and to do and to take photographs, etc., etc. And for a quiet moment, the girls have sat down and they're looking at the show plan of where to put all obstacles, of which you will see a little bit more later. Now then, just before, it takes us 2 hours to prepare the horses, to tack them up, and to go through quietly. Here you see Stephanie at the bottom of the picture, going through with one of the arena helpers exactly what he is supposed to do, because what we want is for everybody that's working with us to have confidence and to know exactly what is expected of them during the show. So, Royal Welsh Show, just to give you some idea of... Hello? He has 16 horses, and I'm trying to turn, go forwards. No, my little button is not going forwards or backwards. Oh dear, we're going back, so we're not going forwards. Perhaps I can adjust something on the, help. Ah, all right, I use my mouse. Mouse to the rescue. Here you see one of the obstacles, which he jumps in and out of. Actually, it's funny, in this picture, they don't actually look very high, but they're actually 3'2", and just high enough to give a good pop. Now, every show produces its difficulties and its problems. And the Great Yorkshire Show, before Lorenzo's display, there is the biggest parade of cattle that you have ever seen. Now, you know what cattle do, don't you? As you can imagine. Yes. Well, we threaten Lorenzo within an inch of his life not to go falling off with his white shirt and his white breeches. So here he comes into the arena. Damn, my mouse isn't working. Go on, forwards. We have a problem. Why is it going sometimes and not other times? Oh. Let's try again. Oh, let's try over here. Ah, okay. In he comes into the arena. And for his displays, he will have 16 horses, not all taking part all at the same time. Some go in and some come out. And so it varies, but here he is with a setup of 12 powerful, big, purebred Lusitano horses from Portugal. And part of his display is to go flying over the fences in front of the grandstand. And some of his shapes and turns, just watch these horses as they're all looking to where they're going, working completely as literally as one horse. Lorenzo looking to the right, horses looking to the right. Oh, they do love the work they do. In the background, here we are sorting out horses, the 2 horses come out, 2 horses go in, and it's literally done on the spur of the moment. These changeovers are instant. And after his display, we have visitors down to the stables who want to come and chat and to see them. You might recognize 1 or 2 there. And it gives us a chance to chat to not only people in high places, but also very importantly, to the young ones, the general public, and to answer some of their questions. They want to know, how do you do it? What's this? What's that? And so on and so forth. And yeah, we love talking to people. The Royal Welsh Show, just to give you some pictures and some idea of some of the shapes and things he does. I'd love to show you this next sequence. And if it'll play nicely, this is me crossing my fingers. There's some rather nice music. Over the Rainbow, which I'm sure you remember and may well have sung along to. It's absolute magic and emotional. And we have big burly stewards just, you know, mopping their eyes. It really gets through to them. Would you like to go down and see where Lorenzo lives? Down in the Camargue. His mum runs bed and breakfast. And he's also just recently built a cottage where people can go and stay. And only up until 2 years ago, these were his stables. Very much DIY, self-made. And only recently has he built himself the most beautiful set of stables. And going back to the other picture, can you see his house in the background? Well, it's the little, in the background there, you see the corrugated roof. That was 2 converted stables and he used to live there. But when he got married just a few years ago, I think his wife felt, couldn't we live somewhere slightly nicer? And so they built themselves a lovely little house, beautiful stables, and a cottage where you can go and stay as well. Lovely, huge acreage on the farmland for the horses to be turned out. And good riding country as well. And here we are taking the horses down to cross over the river Le Petit Rhône, which some of you might have gone across. I don't know whether anybody's gone across the ferry. Little chain ferries that takes you across the river. Cars go on, the horses go on, and off we get the far side. And it's a lovely country, beautiful. It's a little bit like the New Forest in some ways. You know, off the road, you can get away from the masses. And yeah, it's lovely riding country. But all this comes at a cost. And fortunately, Lorenzo loves what he's doing. And he loves going off to shows, which certainly generates huge interest around the world, which extends to Bahrain. And we were out there, this was taken, was it 4 years ago? And the King of Bahrain, he sent over his special aircraft, his special, well, horsebox aircraft to travel the horses over. And actually horses travel ever so well in the air. You know, when you fly in a passenger aircraft, you take off whoosh down the runway, you're up, and then you bank around, and you know, with horses, none of this at all. Very gradual increase of speed down the runway. very gradual into the air, and keep it very level and flat. And the horses have hay nets. Where's my little mouse gone? The horses have hay nets, water, comfortable, and honestly, they get out the other end as though they've only just traveled down the road. It's amazing. The king sent out his special horse boxes to pick the horses up from the airport. And later on, he came down to see us and make sure we were all right. We were in Bahrain in March, end of March, and the temperature was quite equable there. And the beautiful stabling he put us into, which all has air conditioning, which in fact we had to turn off because it was getting too cold. So here we are in his specially built arena, showing off his beautiful white Lusitano horses. And do you know what? The king was actually a little bit confused to start off with. He was staring at those horses and he was thinking that this is trickery here. They must be all tied together. But of course they're not. And it wasn't long before he could see that Lorenzo was putting on the most amazing show that he had ever seen. And he was talking about it 3-4 days afterwards, and he's not normally used to talking about it. He doesn't normally get enthused about entertainment. It's not him, but on this particular occasion he was. And he looked after us really most beautifully throughout our stay there. We were there for just over a week, and we were taken to all the best hotels, and yeah, looked after us very nicely. Now, whilst we were there, and you may have heard that this is my own horse, Tetua, and at shows and displays, we will fly the Union flags. And when we were out in Bahrain, in the corner, oh, here we are flying the flags in London, New Year's Day Parade. When we were out in Bahrain, I spotted in the corner of the collecting ring the Bahraini flags. And I said to Lorenzo, how about flying the flags on your 2 horses? And he said, yes, Patrick, let us try. So I passed him up the flags, and the horses didn't mind. They were very happy with it. They were okay. And I don't know, have any of you been to Bahrain? Maybe yes. And the Bahraini people do not, but I don't know whether it's their nature or something, but they don't get very enthused about entertainment. It's very not sort of done to clap and show your appreciation. At least certainly not until the king shows his appreciation. And if the king doesn't clap, you don't clap either. No. However, in goes Lorenzo into the arena, flying the 2 flags. And I'm not joking, the king, well, he didn't get up, he didn't stand up, but he clapped. And the audience all around the arena burst out clapping. They were stamping their feet. They were standing up, cheering and shouting to see him flying their own Bahraini flags. So I was just a little bit chuffed that I'd suggested this to Lorenzo. And after the show, he calls Lorenzo across to congratulate him and talk to him. And they were talking there for ages. And then the king came over and talked to us and the horses and so on and so forth. It was the most amazing occasion. How are we doing for time? You all okay, just for a few minutes? Because I'd love to show you a few sequences of the show, if it will. Sometimes we have an orchestra. Sometimes we have a chorus. And sometimes we go on, play. let's try again. It might or it might not. Okay, I don't think it's going to play. So I'd love to come and show it to you live. And this is something that we'll look forward to in the future. So here we are at the end of the show in Bahrain. And to introduce you, on the right-hand side, there is Claire, Lorenzo, myself, and his head girl, Stephanie. And this was our team. It was a huge success. All shows must come to an end. And this we took on the way back from the Great Yorkshire Show. You see all the horses loaded up into the horse box, ready to travel back down the big French roads to the Camargue. And on this occasion, I had my Land Rover, and Lorenzo was driving down the motorway, and this photo here was taken just as I was turning off up the slip road to come back down to the New Forest. And of course, there was much waving and hooting and, you know, all this, that, and the other. Special moments, special emotional moments.
What date was this?
What date was it? This was probably a couple of years ago, I think.
Okay.
Yes, do you know, funny, with this COVID, you sort of lose track of time. This is 2020, 2019, well, 2017, 17 Equatorial. No, I think this was 2016, but it might have been, yeah, 2016, I think it was. So anyhow, all I see is Lorenzo eventually disappearing into the distance with his horses. And that's the end of this brief little introduction to the wonderful world of Lorenzo. And we'll finish with me sitting on top of my horse outside some rather well-known gates that you might recognize. Up in London, at Buckingham Palace. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to chat and you can discuss and ask questions. And hey, I hope you've enjoyed it. This has been my first Zoom talk. I don't know what it's turned out like, but it's an experience for all of us.
Thank you very much indeed, Patrick. It's turned out very well indeed.
Okay.
As I said earlier, with any luck, we'll be able to invite you to speak to us face to face next year. One question I've wondered, you said he's got 16 horses. I counted 12 whites. That makes 4 dark horses.
Yeah, there's it's made up of, although he brings 16 horses, he'll have a maximum of 12 into the ring at one time. Now, over the last few years, he's introduced 6 black horses, black Lusitanos. So he's got 8 whites made up of mares and geldings, and 6 black horses. I'm just going to turn the volume down, it's squeaking out now. And 6 black horses, which have fairly recently joined in. And yeah, so he can do the most amazing works, and I'd love to show you a bit more of his video, which wasn't playing today.
Where does he operate from?
And of course at home, I mean, 16 horses, that's only a few of his collection. At home in the Camargue, he has just over 40 purebred Lusitano horses.
Oh.
Some of the older ones, some are retired. All his horses stay there for life. He never sells on any of his horses at all. So if they're successful, they can stay there for life, and it's a very happy home.
How long does it take him to train a horse? How long does it take? Because I mean, a lot of the time they've got no, they've got no saddles, no nothing.
You might have seen in the early bit of the film some foals, and they in fact joined in at a show in Geneva as foals, because he also took their mothers, their two mothers, and the two foals, of course, went with them. And at the end of the show, in the big international indoor arena, he let the two mares and the two foals come in. And the foals were absolutely skittish. They had a wonderful time bucking and galloping and playing and rolling. And of course, the crowd thought this was lovely, and they were clapping and cheering. The music was playing, lights were playing across the thing. And yes, okay, this was wonderful for the spectators, but what was happening for the foals? They were getting used to and accustomed to music and people and the show life. And so when I went with them to Germany for their first official public performance when they were 4 years old, they were like little seasoned professionals. And so their training starts as early as possible. If he has horses in from anywhere else, as say 4-year-olds, he likes to have them for 3 years before they are really fully trained. And of course, to start off with, the younger horses come in and just do a simple little something or other in the show. And that'll be their introduction before they're doing the more complicated maneuvers. And of course, the more advanced horses do very, very complicated maneuvers. And I'd love to show you those next time.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Patrick, if you could stop sharing your screen, then we can see if anyone else.
The volume has gone very quiet. Anybody? Probably because I've turned it down, Sarah. Sorry, was anybody else wanting
Yes,
to?
if you could stop sharing your screen,
Yeah.
we can then see if anyone is raising their hand to ask a question.
Stop share. Oh, look at everybody. Hello, everybody. You've all been hidden.
Right.
Hello, Jack.
Anyone else asking a question there?
Derek.
I was just going to ask about jet lag. I don't know what the time difference is between London and Bahrain, but it'll be 4 or 5 hours, I suppose. Do you have to allow the horse?
Yes, we do. And this is why in Bahrain, I think we got there 5 days before a public performance.
5 days.
To give us all time to adjust.
Thank you.
The horses, interestingly, don't seem to be affected as much as people. I don't know why. Je ne sais pas.
Yeah, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
This is probably displaying my ignorance, but I've always thought that there were wild horses in the Camargue.
Ah, yes, there are. Yes.
There are. Would there be, I mean, yours are Portuguese ones. Would there ever be any chance of training any of the Camargue horses to do anything like this? Or is that completely a crazy idea?
No, in fact, he started off when he was a young lad, 8, 9, 10 and 12, with Camargue horses. Well, the Camargue ponies. And they're about so high. But of course, as he grew bigger, he needed the bigger, more powerful, faster horses. But yeah, the Camargue horses are great intelligence there, and they are quite trainable.
Right, but they're always small, are they?
Yes, generally speaking, we measure horses in hands.
Yeah.
They're approximately 14.3, which is about 145 centimeters, 1 meter 45. Yeah. Tough little creatures they are too.
But do they respond? Are they all right when they come into? Do they ever come into contact with the others?
Yes, I mean his wife has other horses, her own horses there as well, and yes, they do mix.
Yeah.
Interestingly, initially with his Lusitano horses, they were all white, which is the traditional color of the Lusitano. But they also come in black. And it was when the Portuguese were going through very difficult financial times that a stud breeder spoke to Lorenzo and says, look, I'm going to have to get rid of 6 of my best black horses. Would you take them? And Lorenzo says yes. And these were the black horses that you saw in some of the photos. They came to him when they were 3 years old. And his white ones were a lot older and more established. And I didn't think that the blacks were going to mix in with the whites. And they did. Absolutely no problem. The whites accepted them. Yeah, I was absolutely amazed. Now they're working very, very well together.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed that sometimes when there are riders in the forest and there are forest ponies out, there's a funny reaction between the two. And I just wondered whether that was a problem if your fields happened with your horses happened to be near the Camargue ones. I mean, do they get on or not?
Well, he tends to keep all his Lusitanos in his own fields,
Right.
split up into sort of 3 or 4 herds. Whereas Claire's own horses, she runs a small riding school, tends to keep hers in a separate field. When Lorenzo had the Camargue horses when he was a young lad, and when he first had the Lusitanos, he put them together, and that was okay. I think it varies. I mean, yeah.
Thank
but
you.
The Lusitanos are so intelligent, lovely horses to work with, super temperaments. And judging by mine, honestly, he wouldn't hurt a fly. And is lovely with our own New Forest ponies. Very kind. Yes.
Sally, you're muted. You have to unmute. Sally, you have to unmute your microphone.
She can't hear.
There we are. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
No, you're still muted.
Oh, that was somebody else.
Can you do it, Paul?
He's muted. Paul's muted as well.
Sally, you're still muted.
Is that, how's that?
Okay.
Yes.
Is
Sally.
that all right?
Sally,
Right,
that's
sorry. I wanted to know if you had tried to do some of the stunts, the acts that Lorenzo does.
certainly not professionally. Yes, with Tetua, you saw him with the flags. I have ridden him with no saddle, no bridle, and it's easy. Yes, I have also ridden through the woods standing up on his back. But the problem is he's quite tall and the trees are low and I'm fighting my we give our own displays with the flags. We do Flight of the Flags, and we do a little Native American Indian story, and yeah.
Yes,
You need another fete locally.
I need a big back. I need a good back manager and an awful lot of Lusitanos. I leave it to Lorenzo. Yeah.
As he keeps them to retirement, after retirement, how long is the average life of one of the horses?
Valpera is he's 28. Darius is 27. And rather like us, if everything keeps working all right, horses will live into their 30s or early 30s. But you know, if something goes wrong, sadly, you know, they have to pass on. But he'll keep them through. He'll look after them.
Yeah, because not often they don't keep them when they cease to perform.
Oh no, they're friends for life. And in fact, sadly, yes, he has had to have one or two put down.
Yeah.
There's one that had an internal intestinal problem, and I was on the phone to him, or rather he was on the phone to me until the early hours of the morning. Patrick, I don't think I can go on. Patrick, this is terrible. I don't know what to do.
Very hard.
He's a big softie. I wish all the display people were the same, but yeah.
Yes, quite.
Has he been at the New Forest show?
No, I did. I was asked by the secretary if I could make contact with him, and in fact, he came up to a show Lorenzo came to a show in Warwickshire, and I made special arrangements that early in the morning that the show secretary would come and talk to him, because I knew it had to be early because the Royal Welsh show manager was also coming and I wanted to get her in first. And she never turned up.
Oh.
She turned up. I kept ringing her. I said, "Where are you?" "Oh, I haven't come." I said, I could have met you at the main gate. I could have driven you in. I could have sat you down alone to talk with Lorenzo. Oh, she said, "Well, I didn't come in the end." What a mistake. Still,
Well, hopefully we'll be able to make up for that and keep you welcome in the New Forest, as you'll always be welcome with us.
oh, thank you very much.
Patrick, thank you very much indeed. A very, very instructive talk. It is truly delightful to see someone who is so at one with his animals that they can get them working so beautifully together. And that is, to me, that is a sign of somebody who truly loves the animals he works with. As you say, some show people work on the whip and the guide, but
No.
that's what makes him special. Thank you very much indeed for coming to join us.
Well, thank you, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you, Patrick.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Many thanks, Patrick.
Now we've got to work out what to do next.
Paul will switch us off, I expect.
Okay, cheerio.
Bye.
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 Thank you, folks.
Right. Right.